What's up, y'all? Welcome back to The Raging Atheist. I am The Raging Atheist, and today we are going to be getting in to an annoyance of mine over the last few weeks. I discovered this guy a few weeks ago. I was going to make a video about him a couple weeks ago, but with the whole move, it got lost in the transition, and I really want to take my time on that video. I want to just destroy him in that video. So this is a video where I am going to talk to you about Shock of God, and how Shock of God is a liar, and he was never an atheist. I mean, it's apparent this dude was never an atheist, yet he claims that he used to be an atheist and that he destroys atheists all the time. He's very cocky. He's very conceited, and he's very disdainful of atheists, and he talks down to atheists, and he calls atheists names. And we're going to get into this douchebag. So here, meet Shock of God.
The reasons Christians are right. I'm going to go through a list of reasons why Christians are right and everybody else is wrong. But I'm going to back it up with proof and evidence.
All right, but this video isn't about me combating his reasons why Christians are right. I just wanted to kind of show you what kind of asshole this dude is. And I don't really have a problem with assholes, but being an asshole is my thing. And a Christian, or a man that claims to be a Christian, shouldn't get to be that asshole. I'm sorry. You're supposed to be kind of a whiny little pussy. And I know you don't like cursing, so I'm going to try to keep that to a minimum. And we're going to discuss that here in a little bit. This video is about how Shock of God claims that he used to be an atheist. So he's trying to say that he comes from an understanding of how atheists think. And I'm calling bullshit on that right now. I'm calling bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. But don't take my word for it. Let's hear Shock of God tell you how he used to be an atheist.
I used to be an atheist, but I got two things, a brain and a heart, and I left atheism.
So this guy says he used to be an atheist, and he does this because he knows he can get these ignorant fucks that believe in these archaic ideologies to listen to what he has to say about atheists, acknowledge and believe with him the demonizations he's going to place on atheists. But this guy was never an atheist. I mean, it's apparent by the way he talks about atheists. Him saying, oh, I left atheism because I have a brain and a heart. Well, if he was ever an atheist and he actually talked to other atheists, he'd know that we have brains and we have hearts. We're human fucking beings. And there I go cursing again. Cursing myself with these evil curse words. But, so he's demonizing us as less than humans. And if he had been atheist, don't you think that he'd still probably know a few atheists? Don't you think that he would probably had formed some relationships with atheists? That he wouldn't have hated all atheists that he knew? And that he wouldn't demonize with a broad stroke as he is doing? But no, that's not what he's doing. He's feeding his audience a lie. And he's a con man. He's a liar. He's not anything more than that.
I've heard this, especially from the atheist community. Look, they all can't be right. Muslims, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, they all can't be right. Look at all of them. There's so many of them, therefore none are right.
No, I've never heard that. I've never heard any atheists say that because there have been so many religions, that means that they're all untrue. No, we think a little more sophisticatedly than that. We say that most of our modern religions come from older religions, and we don't claim to know what's true and not true, but we do claim to follow along with history, to understand what history says, to understand what archaeology is digging up. And now he's going to try to say that that's all on his side because he's a buffoon and he's living in a bubble and he's selling a con. That's what they do. They sell a con. But it's not accurate. It's not accurate. This whole idea that atheists are out there saying because there's been so many religions that it's not true. No, that's not. Any atheist doesn't think like that. I've never met an atheist that thinks like that or has said that. I don't think like that or says that or say that. So, I mean, this is just proof that this guy was never an atheist. He doesn't know how we think. He doesn't understand where our mental paths are going, the paths we are taking with our thought. He doesn't understand any of that.
The atheists got to be more skeptical. But atheists are not skeptical. They're gullible. They believe that this universe was created by nothing.
Again, he's talking nonsense. He's talking the talking points that Christians put out about atheists. He's not saying anything that atheists actually say. We don't pretend to know what happened at the beginning of the time, because guess what? Not a single atheist that's alive or a single atheist that has ever lived on this fucking planet, and excuse my curse words, but not a single one was alive at the beginning of time to actually know what happened. What we do know is this, and we're fairly certain about this, that there was not some creature there, some omnipotent human being, because that's how you portray your God, sitting there at the beginning of time saying, I'm going to create the universe in an hour. And then, I mean, we know that it didn't take 7 days to fucking create the universe all the way up to when he created man. And your argument, well, time is differently to God. Well, God didn't write that fucking Bible. Human beings did. They wrote those time scenarios. So, I mean, you have cop-outs for everything. History doesn't support you. These stories are stories. They're fiction, yo. Fiction. I don't know if you can see that. Fiction. And he says that we believe that nothing, the universe came from nothing. No, most of us believe in the Big Bang, and we don't know why it happened, but it happened. A lot of us believe in some thing guiding evolution and nature. We just don't believe in your fairy tales. And to sit there and suggest otherwise, to give me Christian talking points about what atheists believe, proves that you were never a fucking atheist and you're no more than a goddamn liar.
If I told you that this motorcycle created itself out of nothing, wouldn't you think that's stupid? Wouldn't you think that's idiocy? Well, that's exactly what the atheists are saying about something far more complex. Hold on, let me take this corner. The universe. But you as a Christian, you would say that no, this motorcycle is the product of intelligent design.
And he's giving us more Christian talking points as if we haven't had this argument for the last, 100 years, ever since atheists have had the freedom to come out and be atheists, 200 years, 300 years, however long that's been. He goes back to the same shit, the same point, about this motorcycle didn't just magically appear, human beings made it. As if atheists don't know that. It's phenomenal how retarded these people are. It's phenomenal how retarded they are. Of course that motorcycle was built by a human and by robots. So, how does that prove that God created anything? That there is anything resembling the God that you believe in? It doesn't. Now, he has a question that he likes to pose to atheists about how can we prove what we believe? And that goes against what atheism is about. He knows it. It's a gimmick. It's a con. Pose it back to him and see if he can answer. And he's going to give you a lot of the things that he's going to talk about later in this video. And it's all bullshit. It doesn't prove anything. He is a con artist. He is a liar. It's what he does. But this whole notion of how atheists believe that something came from nothing, is a classic defense mechanism. He's protracting his own insufficiencies with his religion onto us, because he actually believes that something came from nothing. Because ask a Christian, well, where did God come from? They don't have an answer. God was always there. So God, something, came from nothing.
Atheists believe that nothing created everything, that we're all just animals. If you're an atheist, let me translate that into your language.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't your Bible tell you to judge not lest you be judged? Now, you're sounding fairly condescending towards your fellow man. You're not sounding much like a Christian right now when you make fun and demonize fellow human beings who tend not to agree with you and your belief systems. I mean, that would be offensive to some people. To me, I think it makes you look retarded. It makes you look ridiculous. It makes you look like the fool that you are. But I digress. I mean, and it just proves that you were never an atheist. If you have such disdain for atheists like this. You know, I have disdain for Christianity, but I know a lot of good Christians. I don't have disdain for them. I'm not going to come to you and say that all Christians are evil people, because that's an inaccuracy, and that's generalizing with a broad stroke. But that's exactly what this man does. This guy doesn't even know how to Christian well, but we'll get to that here in a little bit.
Now, let's defend something the atheist community has said. I'm going to be brutally honest in this video. I'm going to compliment the atheists. They're totally wrong with their worldview, but there's one part that they're right about when they admit that Jesus did historically die on a cross.
Once again, Shock of God is showing you what a con he is, what a liar he is. Because I don't think atheists agree with that at all. I mean, I'm sure some do. Some will tell you that there's history that suggests that Jesus Christ was not crucified on that cross. There's some atheists that would suggest to you that history says, and I would be one of these atheists, that Jesus Christ as you know him, the man Jesus Christ, never existed. He never existed. That he was a formulation of several different people claiming to be the Messiah at the same time in Israel, and that legend came together, and all those things that those different people were doing came together and were lumped under one man, and then they added the legend and the superstition to it. And then there's others that would tell you that they believe Jesus Christ was an alien. So I mean you obviously don't know the atheist community at all. You are a Christian, a condescending asshole of a Christian, trying to proclaim your denunciation of an ideology that you have no understanding of, while claiming that you have complete understanding of that ideology. You see, that's the difference between me and you. As an atheist, I was a former Christian. I understand your ideology, and I understand that you are not a symptom of religion, you are the epitome of it.
Well, at least you have atheists like Bart Ehrman, for example, who's totally a heretic. He walked away from Jesus Christ. But even someone as evil as Bart Ehrman...
Here we have the ultimate proof that this guy was never an atheist. He is demonizing this man just for being an atheist as evil. Demonizing a human being. If he was ever an atheist, he would have talked to other atheists. He would know that atheists are nothing more than human beings. They're very similar to you outside of the fact that we don't subscribe to your cult. He would know that they're not evil. But no, he's a propaganda machine, and he's trying to demonize us, and he's trying to make us appear to be something that Christians need to fight instead of people that Christians might need to listen to, because he fears what we have to say. He knows that he doesn't stand on any historical merit. He will tell you over and over again that the historical evidence makes the Christians right. Well, give that historical evidence, because damn it, it doesn't. It doesn't. But we'll get into that in a minute. In a minute. You're going to demonize us as evil? No, you're evil for doing that. that makes you evil. Let me guess, you probably voted for Donald Trump.
Atheism is really easy to bat away. Atheism is just insane.
So he claims. But I can pretty much guarantee you, this guy would get freaking crushed in a real debate by any atheist that knows his shit at all. This guy's a con. He's a liar. This dude is the type of person your mama told you to watch out for. Never trust a liar. Never trust a liar. And that's what he is. But this guy, for being a Christian, he can't even Christian well. I mean, I'm about to take you guys into the realm of unbelievable for me. I mean, some of this was new to me. I hadn't heard these justifications. But, I mean, they must have... I'll give them credit, because they're combating what us atheists do say, and they're coming up with some retarded-ass reasons for it, but at least they're coming up with some reasons. So, let's see him Christian badly.
In the Bible, Abraham, who's also mentioned in the Quran, by the way, Abraham is told to bring his son up to the mountain. His son Isaac, by the way. And Isaac represents a type of Christ.
Now, I've never heard this before. I've attacked this story plenty. And I know plenty of atheists have attacked this story. This is an atrocious story about an evil God asking Abraham to sacrifice his child. I mean, what kind of loving God does that? And now this new justification by this con artist here is that it was all a preamble to Christ. It was a failed Christ experiment. That's all it was. It wasn't God being a cocksucker. It wasn't God being a douchebag and asking Abraham to kill his own child. It wasn't Abraham being a douchebag going to kill his own child for that voice in his fucking head. No, this was just a precursor to Jesus Christ.
Beautiful story. So God's showing Abraham what he's going to do. But see, the Quran...
Not a beautiful story, dude. I'm sorry. I don't find stories about imaginary friends ordering a man to kill his son and the man going to do so until the imaginary friend says, ha ha, just kidding. I don't find that to be a beautiful story. I don't. That just doesn't fit that description to me. It kind of sounds like a horror story, like a shock thriller about a crazy fucker. But you don't see that. It's beautiful. And your little joke there about the Quran and your little tone shows you to be the racist prick you are.
Who, they tried to kill him, but they were not able to. He had this hedge of protection around him, so they put him on this island. And John is the one that had written Revelation in the Bible.
Again, this is something I haven't heard before. I mean, history doesn't bear this out at all. They're saying they tried to kill him, and maybe they did. I'm not too familiar with the circumstances surrounding St. John the Divine, but one thing I do know is that he was sent to an island because he was insane. And that's what they did with insane people back then. They sent him off to be exiled somewhere where there were no other human beings that they could harm. This guy is rewriting history. He is giving you propaganda to justify the horrible shit and the horrible people that gave you this shit. Don't you see that? Most of you don't, but I mean, that's why he doesn't like us, because we can see that.
You have appearances of Jesus Christ. Everyone agrees that people saw Jesus Christ after he died and resurrected. Yeah.
Again, he's giving you bullshit. He's giving you absolute lies. I don't think everybody agrees that people saw Jesus Christ after he died at all. I think that the only people that did see Jesus Christ after he died were his worshipers, who had every reason to create that story. I don't think this is agreed upon at all. And to suggest that this is historical fact, it just isn't.
I is for the immediate proclamation that Jesus is risen. It didn't take, like how atheists will say and Muslims, it didn't take hundreds of years for the story to develop. Immediately after Jesus died and was resurrected, they were proclaiming it in the streets of Jerusalem.
Just another outright lie he's giving you. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm fairly certain history shows that never fucking happened. That they weren't immediately proclaiming the resurrection of Jesus Christ in the streets of fucking Jerusalem. So the streets of Jerusalem were filled by Jews that just killed him. They were filled by Romans that just fucking killed him. and that don't even believe in the Jewish philosophy. He was branded a fucking criminal. And as far as I know, his followers had to pretty much smuggle themselves out of the city so they didn't get arrested, so they didn't get fucking crucified. He's just changing shit to fit a narrative. That proves nothing outside of the fact that Shock of God is a lying bastard.
Science is on their side. DNA is absolute proof of design.
You know, this is a thing that this guy says a lot, and I'm not sure if... I think that this is becoming a new talking point for Christians, trying to embrace science when science has always been the enemy of organized religion, especially Christianity. But this is like a new talking point, and they're trying to say that the DNA chromosome, our DNA proves design. How? How does that prove shit? How does that prove that some figure took some dirt and some blood or whatever accounts that you believe of creation and made us? It proves beyond a shadow of a doubt that human beings are complicated. How did we not know that before? How does this prove anything? Fucking con man, yo. Con man. You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me.
The voluntary sufferings. Would you die for a lie if you knew it was a lie?
I mean, this fucking imbecile doesn't even realize how retarded his arguments are. He's sitting here arguing that Christianity is true because Jesus Christ would not have died for a lie. That nobody would die for a lie, which is outright ridiculous to say because people die for lies all the time. All the people that died in that war in Iraq, guess what? They died for a lie. But I digress. So what he's saying is because of that, it's true. So by his own rationality right now, by his own logic, then every martyr that has ever died for every cause in the history of the world, that makes their cause right. Every martyr that has died for Islam, that means that Allah's the real God. By your logic, he makes no fucking sense. So I hope I've shown you my evidence why this guy's a liar, why he was never an atheist. He doesn't think like an atheist. He's not even a good Christian. And we're going to be tackling Shock of God a lot. I'm going to combat this dude.